Hong Kong looked like a city under siege on Sunday as pro-democracy demonstrators clashed with police. Protesters gathered by the thousands, and Hong Kong police responded en masse. Hong Kong lawmaker Eddie Chu joined the demonstrators, and officers attacked him with pepper spray. But not all of the violence was directed at those standing for democracy. This man, said to be a pro-Beijing demonstrator, was attacked by the crowd. Some of the worst violence in months comes just 2 days ahead of China's celebration of 7 decades under communist rule. The former British colony is set to come under full Chinese control in 2047. On Sunday, British Foreign Minister Dominic Raab said Britain would not ignore the plight of those yearning for democracy.
For those struggling for the basic liberties we take for granted, the rights you jealously guard, here this week, to debate, to have your say, to hold your politicians to account. So we won't look the other way when the people of Hong Kong are beaten on commuter trains for exercising their right to peaceful protest.
On Sunday, Hong Kong was a city of stunning contrasts. As hundreds gathered in an auditorium to honor the Chinese flag, thousands outside dishonor it and the communist government it represents. Protesters see China's anniversary on Tuesday as a chance to show the world their anger about Beijing's growing influence on their city.
For weeks, protests against Haitian President Jovenel Moïse have paralyzed much of the capital, Port-au-Prince. Over the weekend, an uneasy calm returned to the city. With debris from roadblocks still littering the streets, having a motorbike was the most efficient way to get around. We visited the shanty town of Cité Soleil, the poorest slum in the city. There we met 65-year-old Solène Lorise. The living conditions in her neighborhood are far from sanitary, and many of her family members are sick. She tells us she remembers a time when she had steady work, and life in the country wasn't nearly as hard, but those days are long gone.
Entire communities underwater. This is what remains of one home in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh. Torrential rain proving too much for some buildings, now destroyed.
The biggest problem here is that day by day the water level is rising. The water has entered houses, as you can see.
The powerful weather system drenched the state for more than 24 hours, affecting close to 600,000 people. Schools were closed down and thousands of displaced families have been moved to relief camps. It's not known how long they'll be allowed to stay.
It's not known how long they'll be allowed to stay. All glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. All honors due to the saints and the prophets that spread this same word. We are now watching the downfall of the earth, the collapse of the collapse of economic systems. Okay? I heard that there's a possibility that being a conspiracy theorist is being a terrorist. But now, with so much truth coming to light, is this really being wrong? Is this a conspiracy at this point? Okay? Poor little Greta was at the UN, and you know what gets me? This whole thing about Greta being a paid agent. Someone said that Greta could possibly be working with George Soros, or she's one of the paid actors. Well, get this. Is this fake news? Did they have a whole bunch of villagers walk around in a pool, a muddy pool, huh? Or is this actually displaced water coming from the fact that the sun is now heating up the Arctic and melting the ice, displacing the water? Huh? You let me know what's going on in this scenario, okay? Because this is the point in time that we're in. As you see on the screen, and if you haven't seen on the screen, if you haven't been watching the streams, these are the last days. We are now watching the collapse, or actually we're watching a mass extinction level event. But sense, people are preoccupied with different, life events, whatever they have to go through. Well then, this is what we have. This is where we're at. Okay?
And as the rain came down, the death toll went up. Dozens have drowned, while others were killed as buildings collapsed. Relief efforts are underway, with authorities
now
trying to
that's
drain...
another thing. That's another thing. This is just on that side. Watch when it hits America, people. This is going to get real deep, okay? This is we are now watching, because before people was up there saying, you know what, you're reaching, you're a conspiracy theorist, but now this stuff is actually happening. So will those people, when natural disasters occur, what church are you going to be running to? How are you going to pray to God then? You have now been hit with the wrath of God. Okay? Now, before that happens, this is where we should be actually building a relationship with God. You don't want to be sitting in festering water, or water that holds bacteria, different larvae, different insects. Okay? Because that's where disease spreads. This is biology 101. We already know we don't want to be walking around in contaminated water, because we could, if that was the case, we may as well bathe in contaminated water, right?
Floodwaters.
Its military strength. We've seen thousands of troops, we've seen hundreds of tanks and aircraft. This was definitely China saying to the world, we are a strong military force.
Now, why did I hear on the news that being a conspiracy theorist is now linked to terrorism? Is this a conspiracy theory at this point? And then, why are people telling me that the Bible's a hallmark publication? A hallmark publication, but it speaks of the destruction of modern day Babylon. Anyone? Please, someone, tell me what the heck is going on with this time, huh?
But it was also an opportunity for President Xi Jinping to send a cautionary note to the people of China. Yes, he said we should celebrate the achievements that China has made up to this point, but also we should be careful. There is a rough road ahead. Analysts suggest that what he's talking about is the state of China's economy. Earlier on this year, the expansion rate of China's economy slowed to 6.2%. That's still a significant rate, but it's the first time in 27 years that China's economy has started to slow down.
Now, the U.S. is reportedly flexing its military might in response to China's huge 70th anniversary military parade. Private aircraft monitoring company Aircraft Spot cited the U.S. Air Force to report that the U.S. is planning to conduct a launch drill of Minuteman III, a long-range intercontinental ballistic missile from its Vandenberg Air Force Base in California on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the Japan...
And that's another thing. Someone told me I was living in fear. Now, what gets me about the whole living in fear thing is the fact that so much for living in fear, when this is what they're pumping. This is what's on your news. So why don't you write your congressman or senator and ask them why they have us living in fear, huh? How come this is on our news segments? And this is global, okay? This isn't like CBS, NBC, or none of them, okay? This is somewhere over in India. Check it.
Times reported that the Nimitz
7 years that China's economy has started to slow down.
Now, the U.S. is reportedly flexing its military might in response to China's huge 70th anniversary.
Now, usually, even in America, when you have a reporter or a journalist appear on the screen, they appeal to the populace, to the population. Okay, so that's where I'm saying I thought she was in India. She could probably be Korean, Chinese, whatever she is, but either way, this is global. So when somebody came in here and told me, hey, that America's going to be blown away. Hey, don't think for a minute that the whole world's safe. Okay? This is a global judgment. This is the wrath of God coming down upon the earth. All right? So, no flesh shall be saved unless they commit themselves to the Lord. Now, what gets me also is the fact that I'm still arguing with a pastor. I'm arguing. hey, Goyim. Then write your senator, or write one of these news places and ask them why they fear mongering. You let me know, dude. Why don't you ask them how come they're fear mongering? Because what gets me is this is actually current events. I can't tell you about a rose garden. I can't tell you about some new species of flower, because this is what's being promoted on the TV screen. Okay? Now, you can say, well, that's the channel you went to, but I'm pretty sure if he would have picked out some rose-colored lens news segments, then there wouldn't be a problem here. You see what I mean? But now that I'm bringing you actual current events, you're telling me that I'm fear-mongering. Dude, do the research. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Military parade. Private aircraft monitoring company Aircraft Spot cited the U.S. Air Force to report that the U.S. is planning to conduct...
And see, you know what? All you people that sit there and say, you're fear-mongering. You're just denying your fate. You know that this place has to come to an end. All good things must come to an end. I never created that saying. That's the saying that goes. Now, if you're happy actually having no problems, bartering cash for services and needs, and not worried about having secret fees popped up on you, okay? If you have no problems with that, if you have no problems knowing that your significant other, male or female, could just leave you at the drop of a dime for someone that's more financially equipped or in a better standings or better looking or something like that, if you're cool with that reality, then you're the one that's living in fear, sir, because they're telling you that reality is soon to come to an end. Okay? So for the last 50 some odd years, you've been able to live that. That's whatever you've been able to do. But now this is starting to come to an end. No more systems. Okay? Anybody remember Apocalypse? Okay? If you don't remember him, we'll get into him later. We'll check him out. Wait, what? You're on here using PlayStation. Hey, if I was delusional, this wouldn't be on the screen. I'm using YouTube and my PlayStation to put forth my message through my channel. And my message is the news, as you see, the news is saying responding to China's parade, ICBM, okay? So I didn't put that up. So why don't you go write Beijing News and ask them why they're talking about ICBMs? That's a common sense for you, right? Why would you be on my channel worried about what I'm saying? I'm on YouTube using my source, but there's other people that's putting these videos together, and their videos aren't coming from YouTube, sir. So if you ever have a problem with this channel, you can remove yourself. No one's ever invited you, Goyim. Okay? I don't even know where you came from. You're a joke. The real investigation is on your screen. Was you actually there to actually capture this missile going off into the sky? You got to be serious. So these are fake outlets. So all these places that's talking about CNN, that's fake news, Fox, fake news, this is fake news, Al Jazeera's fake news, RT's fake news, right? All these places are fake news. They're all just paid off, right? At this point, because that's what I'm constantly hearing from everyone until something actually hits. something actually goes down, and then all of a sudden, that's when you want to sit there and say, oh God, but guess what? The devastation's already happened, sir. So why not pray to God before the destruction hits? Why do you wait until the destruction hits to call upon him in your calamity? Hey, guess what? Once your leg is broke, it's broke. The idea of staying alive is to make sure that you don't break your leg, correct? So, if we know that they're talking about this, why not know about it? Why not watch out for it? Why not make ourselves correct with God? Why are we going to sit there and say, oh, that's fake news. We could keep on living our lives the way we want to. Huh? So then when this comes upon you and then you get blasted away out of nowhere, if there's a little shred of life left in you with your last breath, you're going to say, oh, God. That's where you want to be? Huh? No, I'm promoting before we get to that point, we should be praying to God and building a connection with him. That's what I want to do, sir. Now, if you don't like this stream, you can remove yourself. But this is what I'm talking about. Now, this ain't no fear-mongering. Now, if you feel like it's fear-mongering, go call Beijing, talk to their news, go talk to Al Jazeera, go talk to Fox, go talk to CNN. Hey, you know what? You sound like one of the bureaucrats that's talking about putting on the books this law where conspiracy theorists are terrorists. Now, how am I creating terrorism and how am I conspiracy theorist when I'm watching the news and the news is putting out the same stuff that I'm saying? You tell me that. Back to business.
A launch drill of Minuteman III, a long-range intercontinental ballistic missile from its Vandenberg Air Force Base in California on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the Japan Times reported that the Nimitz-class aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan and a strike group of 6 frigates were spotted last Saturday in the South China Sea, sailing in the area northeast of the contested Spratly Island chain. While the world awaits the next North Korea-U.S. talks on denuclearization, U.S. President Donald Trump's former national security chief has weighed in on the subject, saying the regime will never truly abandon its nuclear weapons program. Our ET1 reports.
Former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton.
Hold on, before we get to that, I'm so tired of seeing real news and everyone that wants to keep their head in the sand constantly calling it fake. If you don't like reality and you want to deem reality fake, that makes you fake. You're the fictional person. You're the person that wants to keep their head buried in the sand. Okay? Now, with this little girl Greta going on the stage and talking about the Earth's collapsing, ecosystems are collapsing, we're watching the beginnings of a mass extinction. Okay, now we got people out there saying, hey, you know, she's paid off by George Soros. Yeah, she's another actor. She's an actress. As if India just didn't get bombed with a flood. That's normal. This is so every time something actually happens, we got these groups of people out there that want to sit there and say, just pretend it didn't happen. It always happens. This is normal. You're just making something out of nothing. Okay? You know what else is normal? Death. But when it's knocking at your door, you don't want it. Okay? So be careful what you're asking for. Don't just keep on brushing everything under the rug. Because next thing you know, when it's in front of you, how will you endure it?
Claims North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will never voluntarily give up his nuclear weapons arsenal, at least under the current circumstances.
I think the strategic decision that Kim Jong-un is operating through is that he will do whatever he can to keep a deliverable nuclear weapons capability.
Whoa.
Develop and enhance it.
Hold on. You believe, therefore, making you just as blind as the rest of who? You? No. Sir, if you have not seen, the sun is now heating up the planet. Yes, Yes, global warming is real. I don't know if you're in a basement. I don't know. And you can't even, if you're in Alaska, you would be feeling enough heat to realize that there's global warming. Okay? Now, like I said, you need to do the research. I've already showed the displacement of water. Okay, so now India being flooded is natural. You see? Like, that's what I'm saying. If people start looking at news to be natural, the more it upticks, the more you're going to claim it's fake news. Okay? That's where we're at. Now, I'm not trying to make anybody believe anything. How am I blind to what's happening on the screen? Now, I know that there's bosses behind the screen, yes, but what's the message that they're promoting to us? It looks like out of business sale. So what happens in out of business? Liquidation. Where's liquidation come in? War makes money. That's commerce. So if we're here, why are you saying to look away? That's good. That's good. Don't fear death and don't fear man. That's good. I'll agree with you on that. Dude. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, then if it happens every 1,000 years, it's been recorded. That's not natural. Natural is we have storms. We don't have supercell storms. We don't have Hurricane Dorians that rotate in one spot for like over 5 hours. We don't have those type of storms. Those are supernatural events. Okay? So if it happens every 1,000 years, let it be known that's a supernatural event. That's an abnormal event. That's out of normal activity. Okay? I want you to know that's a supernatural event. Okay? So just in case the supernatural exists, I'm letting you know now. Okay? And as you see on the screen, don't take that little microchip that's walking around here too. Okay? Okay, wait. Why would I look up the Arctic ice shelf engrainment lines when I already just told you that it's melting? We're in the melting phase. So, are you cool knowing that, people live on coastal lines? We're now watching the water being displaced and India's being submerged. Different things, huh? Yes, I sure did. Yeah, I sure did. Yo, bro, and lightning isn't normal. You can go outside right now. That's not a natural event. Okay? If that was a natural event, we would constantly be waiting for thunder or lightning. Okay? And in fact, I'll fix my saying with that. Lightning can be normal because that's a flash in the sky. It's the thunder, the crackle, the thunder boom, okay? When it strikes the ground, when it hits the tree, that's abnormal, okay? That's not something we see every day. That's not a natural event. Back in...
He may make some concessions, but under current circumstances, he will never give up the nuclear weapons voluntarily.
Bolton made the remarks in Washington on Monday at a forum co-hosted by the South Korean daily 중앙일보 and the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Insisting the U.S. is in a classic standoff with the North, Bolton said a partial lifting of sanctions would be more beneficial to North Korea than any marginal reduction of the regime's nuclear weapons stockpile, as it would allow them to sustain their authoritarian system and keep their economy.
Well, according to Goyam, since I sound a special kind of dumb, these people should be looking for lightning or thunder, okay? That's not a normal event. I'm just letting you know.
Afloat. Countering sentiments expressed by his former boss, President Trump, Bolton said that slow progress works against those who oppose nuclear proliferation, as it gives countries like North Korea and Iran more time to test and produce bombs. On why North Korea has stopped nuclear testing, Bolton claimed it's because the regime no longer needs to.
One reason, one very good, very troubling reason, why there's no more testing of nuclear weapons for the moment, or of long-range missiles, is that North Korea has, in its judgment, for well or ill, finished testing and can produce nuclear warheads and long-range ballistic missiles. That's not an encouraging sign. That's a sign to be worried about.
Bolton also said the North's recent test firing of short-range ballistic...
Well, to pause the fake news a little bit right here to answer this guy's question once again, electricity isn't Satan. Who encaptured it is Satan, okay? Electricity is still a creation from God, but that was like a warning. That was like anytime you seen a flash back in medieval time or back in natural times, you would get scared. Where since you got houses over you, now you can sit in your car. Hey, imagine this: your car gets struck by lightning or thunder, huh? Is that Satan? Okay, now that's out of the norm. That never happened, right? That never happens. Your tires are ground by rubber, okay? The electricity is to be in the air. We found a way to actually use it in coil form. And when Nikola Tesla put it out, he was putting it out for public consumption. People captivated it, enslaved it, and now they sell it. Don't you understand? The luxury, okay? What else did Nikola Tesla come out with? So let's not talk about what Satan and who Satan is. I'm saying the fact that that's not normal. It's not natural. I didn't say anything about electricity being Satan. Like I said, I was in here with 0 people. I'm glad one came in. They're pretty good. If you don't like the stream, remove yourself. I don't know what else to tell you, but this ain't fake news. I'm not trying to make you fearmonger. Like it says at the bottom of the screen, declaring the kingdom of God. So nowadays that's linked to being a conspiracy theorist. Now I'm labeled as a terrorist for actually saying, hey, guess what? This stuff is actually coming to pass, and God said he had to clean up the earth in order for him to come and reside in it or reside on it. Okay? So if you're thinking that I'm trying to pump some fear, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That's what I promote. I promote that every stream, friend. That's what I promote every stream, brother. So these war talks are not only happening on CNN, NBC, CBS. It's now over in Al Jazeera, Irangi News, RT News, different places. All right. So this is no fear. I'm letting you know the kingdom of God is at hand. You can't enslave something that is not a living thing. You okay, so you're telling me that something that comes out of the sky, a supernatural event, can you just summon lightning? You understand? And what produces electricity? Because since you're so enlightened, I would like to know what your idea of electricity is. Electricity, I'll fix it for you because you may not be able to type that fast. Electricity comes from coal. Okay? There's a reactor that heats the coil. The coil produces electricity. So, do you understand if you don't think that this stuff has been manufactured, then you need to do more research. But we're at this time where a lot of people can't be taught. If you believe that this stuff is here to better you, then you're enslaved already, okay? Well, you keep on with your negative and positive ions, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Put negative and positive. How do you get the charge? Where's the charge come from, friend? You see? That's what I'm saying. It's not just regular magnets rubbing together and then it produces. No, you need a reaction, okay? But back to business. I can't teach you all day. I can't. I'm sorry.
Missiles should not be viewed as unthreatening, as the capabilities and maneuverability of those missiles could be adapted to longer-range ballistic missiles. Bolton, well known for his ultra-hawkish views, insisted military force has to be an option at some point if one cannot accept North Korea as a nuclear state. Citing such concerns as well as the growing military, political, and economic threats posed by China, Bolton stressed it's time for the U.S. to get more involved and show greater leadership not only on the Korean peninsula but around the world. 이지원, 아리랑 뉴스.
So be sure to have an umbrella ready this week as another typhoon is approaching the Korean peninsula. Typhoon Mitag is forecast to hit the country by Wednesday, bringing heavy downpours to most of the nation. Our Ji-young has more.
The 18th typhoon of the season, Mitag, is expected to reach Korea's south coast around Wednesday. If it stays on its projected path, it'll bring heavy rainfall to most of the country. According to the Korea Meteorological Administration, as of 9 a.m. today, the typhoon was 270 kilometers northeast of Taiwan and is moving north towards Shanghai, China. By Wednesday morning, Mitag is forecast to be roughly 300 kilometers off Korea's southernmost island of Jeju. It is then expected to pass through Mokpo in Jeollanam-do province on Wednesday night before leaving the peninsula and heading towards South Korea's easternmost island of Dokdo. By the time the typhoon reaches Korea, it is forecast to have a maximum wind speed of roughly 104 kilometers per hour. Heavy downpours and strong gusts are likely to lash Jeju Island and southern parts of the country today as the typhoon approaches. The National Weather Agency has issued heavy rain warnings as of 11 a.m. on Tuesday for Jeollanam-do province, and parts of this region are currently receiving up to 30 millimeters of rain per hour, accompanied by thunder and lightning. Typhoon Mitag is expected to be as strong as the recent Typhoon Tafa, and as serious damage is expected, experts advise people to prepare for the typhoon to minimize any damage. Ji-young, Arirang News.
The hills around the Nigerian border with Cameroon are a renowned Boko Haram stronghold. Nearby, the Christian village of Gakara has become synonymous with the reign of terror in the region. These villagers, wrapped in silence, are still trembling in horror after Nigerian Islamist militias attacked them. Their target, these women, defenseless mothers like Sarah, torn from their homes and horrifically mutilated. Boko Haram cut off their left ears.
The terrorists arrived in the dead of night. They broke into our houses and rallied us together. They beat an old man to death and beheaded a 10-year-old child. They said to us, "We asked you a while ago to join our cause, but you decided to stay with these Christians. Since you won't listen to us, your ears are of no use to you. So we're going..."
So, now I'm being accused of attacking someone. There's no way possible that I'm trying to discredit factual evidence when you're watching news and you're thinking that it's fake or you're thinking it's propaganda. Now, you tell me at what point somebody actually faked this type of news, okay? Don't say that you're not Okay, if you're debating, let's debate this. At what point is this fake? Huh? You let me know that we're not in the last days as it says on the screen. This ain't fear mongering. And then what happens with these people? These people weren't warned that they had people in their community that was cutting ears off. They didn't know this. Had they had been warned, what would they have said? Fake news? Would they have said, nah, we don't believe you? Huh? Hey, you're saying I'm discrediting your factual evidence. So that is me attacking you. Now, if you're not saying that I'm not attacking you, no, let's get back to my question. How is this not factual evidence? How is everything that I've showed you not been factual evidence? For one. For two, you also said that I'm fear-mongering. Now, had these people had been warned that these people were in their communities, would they have said the same thing? Or would they have heeded to the warning and got the hell up out of the community? Now, what's wrong? I'm asking a question. Just like I said, I don't want you to think that I'm discrediting you or attacking you. So, back to me. If I'm putting out disinformation or fear-mongering or asking for any kind of propaganda tactic, where is this real? Why is this happening on our streams? Why is no one talking about this on their streams? And why is this actually happening? And what would have been different if those people had been warned? See, that's what I'm saying. I think that you don't like the warning. And it's not the fact, I don't think you like the warning. The warning may not be good, but it's good to know the warning beforehand, because you don't want to end up in the bad predicament on the calamity and no one warned you. If this has been going on for centuries or for generations, why is this out of the norm then? Why are they talking about it on the news? They had nothing else to talk about, so they said, let's travel down there and talk about some black girl's ear getting cut off, right? This is normal. That's what I'm saying. While the judgments of God is coming down upon the earth, if we continue to look at it as just normal, the more atrocious they become. When they land on your doorstep, you can't be surprised because you've been ignoring the signs the whole time. Had you just taken a little bit deeper insight or did a little bit better research or maybe cared a little bit more, then maybe that stuff won't befall you. But you can't continue just saying, hey, it's not me. Or you can't keep continuing saying, you know what? It's not on my doorstep, because when it comes to your doorstep, it's going to be so normalized with the world that you should have stood up and said something then.
To brand you for life, and they cut off our ears.
Abba is the head of the community. He's decided to rally together a local defense force, villagers equipped with what they have to hand, including makeshift bows and arrows. These weapons would be of little use against Boko Haram. However, these men are determined to stand up against the violence.
Now, Hong Kong is having their fair share of violence. We know America, we just came from a shooting gallery in the summertime. How many shootings? Texas, there were so many shootings, okay? Now we're seeing Now we're seeing dissidents, like, but that's what I'm saying. Then we're gonna have Goyim here say, hey, you know, this stuff's been happening for generations now. Don't act like it's not new. So now we're brushing things under the rug, which I really don't think we should be doing at this point in time. Okay? Well, you know what? Everyone can read the script. Everyone can read the script. I'm not trying to flip your words. I'm telling you the way that I'm understanding your text. Okay? The way I'm understanding your text, you're saying it was normal. If you wasn't, you wouldn't have said they've had these for generations. They didn't just pop up. Okay? I'm not talking about the harem itself. I'm talking about the atrocious acts that's happening. Now, they're happening global. This is happening on a global scale amidst the climate change factor. So, as we know, through nature, when climate change occurs in natural form, you know, some birds don't know how to cope, and they may start flying with other flocks, or they may like bang in the trees, or, you know, start their brain, their hardwiring, their neural links, their neural bond, or their brains don't act right. Okay? But now we're watching this on a human scale. We're watching this on a mass scale. Now, the viruses are popping up. They have viruses popping up. They have people just losing all morals. Okay? It's more than just, oh, they're a drag queen, or oh, it's a tranny. Now we're watching violence. We're watching the violence actually occur. Okay? So it's not just saying, oh, well, maybe they got a mental illness, or no, you can't even say that anymore. Now you just got to let it go, and now you got to worry about the person shooting. Okay? And then you have the climate change. Now you're seeing floods in India. Bahamas just got tore up. Puerto Rico just got a hurricane and an earthquake at the same time. So, if I'm promoting fake news, if I'm denying factual evidence, I implore you, please, do your own research. Don't listen to me. Watch a few of my streams. And if you don't want to watch a few of my streams, do your own research. Google is your friend for now. So, I implore you, check this stuff out. Don't just think that I'm trying to get you to buy anything. I don't have no donation button. I'm not asking for no. The most I'm asking is for a minute of your time. And if you feel I'm wasting your time, then go do something more constructive and creative. But this is actually happening. RT stands for Russia Today. Japan scientists develop blood for patients with any blood type. Okay? So, why would they do that? And how do they do that? How are they now creating methods and antigens like they're gods? Why are they playing the fact or the role of playing a god? Let's get this.
Japanese researchers from the National Defense Medical College have created an artificial blood. These scientists say the creation could dramatically increase the chances of someone who is seriously injured to survive. Published in the U.S. journal Transfusion, scientists discuss their findings and elaborate on a combination therapy they tested on rabbits. 10 rabbits suffered from severe blood loss. 6 of them survived, which researchers say is comparable to being treated with real blood. Blood platelets, which help stop bleeding, can be stored up to 4 days if shaken. Oxygenated red blood cells can survive for 20 days if kept at low temperatures. But the artificial blood, which has both platelets and red blood cells, can be stored at normal temperatures up to an entire year. Scientists say this would be critical for life-saving efforts in remote areas. And since it doesn't matter what your blood type is, paramedics and other emergency personnel can begin your transfusion much quicker, which would help one's chances for survival even more. In Los Angeles, Natasha Sweet, RT.
It's hard to clear through the debris to get right down to the nitty-gritty that is real news.
New details are coming to light in the case of Jeffrey Epstein as more between the 2-year Treasury yield and the 10-year Treasury yield.
Several hundred students are staging a sit-in.
Amazon rainforest, and the blame game is underway. It's time for RT America. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Thank you very much. Now, with a rundown of all the stuff that you just seen on your screen, do you think that I'm trying to promote you fear? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? At this point in time, as it says at the bottom of your screen, declaring the kingdom of God, that's all I got to promote. I'm promoting the kingdom. The kingdom of God, where he'll come down and wipe tears. There'll be no more pain and no more death. No more sorrow. For those are the former things that passed away with the old earth and the old heavens. Okay? We're looking for a new kingdom to come. I'm looking for a new kingdom to come. And if you believed in God, that's what you'd be looking for too. You wouldn't be looking for a pastor to tell you God wants you to prosper in this sick, twisted world. You wouldn't be looking for God. You wouldn't be looking for a pastor to tell you that you need to pass around the tithes and the plates and the offerings and care about your community. You're looking at the beginnings of the collapse of an extinction level event. So, if you think that I'm trying to fearmonger you, I implore you to do your own research. But I'm going to rewind this one more time so you can see what happened throughout the course of this year alone. People get it right.
Begin your transfusion much quicker, which would help one's chances for survival even more. In Los Angeles, Natasha Sweet, RT.
It's hard to clear through the debris to get right down to the nitty-gritty that is real news.
New details are coming to light in the case of Jeffrey Epstein as more between the 2-year Treasury yield and the 10-year Treasury yield.
Several hundred students are staging a sit-in.
Amazon rainforest, and the blame game is underway. It's time for RT America. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Movies take months to film. Post-production and editing could take just as long. So you can imagine the panic felt across Hollywood when their Macs were crashing. Apple computers across the movie industry's capital were mysteriously breaking down. An editor for the show Modern Family tweeted it also happened to their entire team. Here you can see in this other tweet, also from an editor, warning people not to shut their system down. At first, the culprit was thought to be Avid, a professional editing software, but then it was discovered that it was Apple not interacting well with Google's Chrome.
But it's definitely a wake-up call for those of us in the media.
Two-time Emmy-nominated Hollywood producer Jackie Jordan says the issue impacted her team as well.
My post-production team panicked when they saw that this happened because not only was it an issue of a software meets computer hardware conflict, it was also, it would shut down. If you turned your computer off, it wasn't booting back up again.
From her experience, Jordan has noticed how quickly Macs outdate themselves. Instead of trying to fix the problem, Apple says they're working on their new Mac Pro set to roll out later this year. The one currently being sold, which was released back in 2013, is now known as the trash can since it's said to be outdated.
To me, this is like a flare, a warning flare that went off, and we're going to see other issues like this creep up.
Do you think that the movie industry per se is too dependent on one product, being Apple?
The dependency is actually there.
Since Macs can have issues with Google or Microsoft related products, there's no telling what the solution will be unless editors decide to use a better backup method or a different computer altogether. And despite this big glitchy scare, Hollywood is still showing support for Apple, that is, as of right now. In Los Angeles, Natasha Sweet, RT.
I don't know what happened with this.
Overflow refugees has led. The agreement between the European Union and Turkey to control the flow of refugees has led to non-viable and ineffective policies and practices in Greece, according to the International Rescue Committee and other NGOs on the 3rd anniversary of the agreement.
Over previous winters, we've seen thousands of very vulnerable people housed in flimsy summer tents in sub-zero conditions. We also see persistent overcrowding, particularly in the reception and identification centres, or the hotspots, as they're known. So in the last summer, at the peak of the overcrowding, for example, we had 9,000 refugees housed in Moria on the island of Lesbos. This is a...
Well, get ready. Get 9,000 more this winter, okay? Because it's just getting worse. Every year is an uptick. Aren't we tired of seeing that there's no decrease in these events? How come every event is just a natural event, but they're getting stronger and more harsh? The winters are becoming more colder in some spots, because there's other spots that the sun is blaring so hot that they didn't even experience winter. So, what time are we in? Okay, and why are we ignoring the signs? Why are people so oblivious? Why is ignorance so bliss? Why can't we just keep ourselves looking in the other direction, knowing dang well we got a Gatling gun of drama about to be pointed at us? Huh?
Centre that's only really made to house 3,000 refugees. So as a result, we saw a significant lack of hygiene, a lack of running water, and outbreaks of violence.
The IRC says all this could be resolved if EU member states shared the burden of hosting asylum seekers, but the Hungarian government is ready for new battles. The battle is not yet finished. We are beginning a new battle, a battle against the secret plans of Brussels for migration, said Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó. The IRC says the current situation can't go on and there are other solutions.
Potentially we see the coalitions of the willing between EU member states that do support responsibility sharing and know that this situation can't go on, to put in place ad hoc solutions. But also, for example, we would welcome bilateral solutions like that just recently proposed by Portugal to relocate 1,000 refugees from the Greek islands directly to Portugal.
The ball is now in the court of EU leaders.
Bolivia is experiencing its worst fires in living memory. Since January, 5 million hectares of forest and savanna were lost. 2 million of that was in the past 2 months. The flames are threatening 1,200 species. Amazon's indigenous communities say it's an environmental genocide. Despite 5,000 people to control the fires, the blazes are still out of hand.
On the side of the community of Tierra Hermosa, we had 20 water discharges and still the fire couldn't be stamped out. On this other side, we had 120 discharges and each helicopter was carrying 2,500 liters, but still the fire went on. We visited the department of Santa Cruz and its Chiquitania dry forest region, which was the worst.
The thing that hurts me about this whole scenario with the whole Amazon is to know that it was greedy corporations that went down there and burnt live innocent creatures that had nothing to do with their greed and their terrorism. That's how bad everything is enslaved or in captivity. All right, so you're right, lightning may not be real, but to know that everything else from an orange to an apple has been enslaved. People have been enslaved. Nature itself has been enslaved. Okay? That's what I was saying with the lightning. Everything has been enslaved at some point. You have to pay for electricity. You have to pay for gas. Natural gas. Now, how do you captivate natural gas? All right? So, now, through their greed, they burnt down the homes and the ecosystem to secure their pockets or secure their bag. Is this okay? Where and in what mindset? Okay? I'm going to let you know now that the Bible says that God says that it's not okay for the people to destroy the earth. And he's coming back to destroy those who destroy the earth. Now, captivity, enslavement, that is destroying anything. Do you know if you leave a tiger or whatever zoo creature out by itself, it has a longer lifespan than the lifespan of its captivity? Are you kidding me? So then, not only are you robbing it of its life to explore and to naturally become that animal, no, you now made it docile. It doesn't know that it's a real lion because it's just in a cage. You toss it some meat, it doesn't know how to hunt. It's just a docile creature at this point, and it's just looked at as a spectacle. Okay, this is where we have to change. But we're so far gone. I don't think that there's a way for us to change. Okay, I think that this is the way that it's supposed to be, as it is already written. Okay, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Now, do you think there's a zoo in heaven? If you do, get on your knees, pray to God, and maybe he'll show you and let you know if there is one or not. But as for me, I implore you. In fact, I tell you from the bottom of my soul, there is no zoo in heaven.
Affected. Local authorities say around 40 fires are still active, and the flames have expanded also to new areas. Many locals are still actively involved in putting out fires, like Gregorio, a cattle breeder in the community of Guadalupe. We followed him into the forest, where he worked for 2 weeks to stop the flames.
Do I believe in open borders? The borders have been open for years now. Now, I haven't seen the Zetas come through, none of the Mexican mafia. So I don't understand why this wall had to be built. So I guess in a way I kind of agree with open borders, but where people don't like open borders is they believe in the propaganda that Mexicans stole all our jobs. So they'll say, go back to your country. We don't want you here. Y'all just mess up the country. This is where we're coming from. That's more of a racial stance, that you don't want open borders. But as for the violence to peak, I have yet to see so. No, for years this has been going on. So where has that happened?
Los primeros días yo venía solito porque a mí me preocupaba.
You know what that was? That was a play on the society, because notice they shut down the government in order for him to get that money to build that or erect that wall, and that was just supposed to be a badge of honor. You see what I mean? That's something to mark America, to let them know that he was president. Because they're scaling that wall. They're scaling the wall. They're digging tunnels under the wall. So what was the wall really for? You see what I mean? We didn't really need that wall. But he fought so hard for that wall. And like I said, years before, come on, why would you ask me if I believe in open borders, but you know that the harems have been around for generations? Well, then you would know that we also didn't have to have a wall built. We haven't had a wall for centuries, or for generations, right? They're gonna get in one way or another. The country's so big, for one, and for two, like I just said, they got people climbing the wall, and they have people digging tunnels under the wall or around the wall. Wait, why? Oh man, you know what? This is a good conversation. This is a real good conversation. But why can't we take care of our homeless population? We have a billion. We have a $50 billion arsenal or war bill or war budget, right? Not to mention how much are we paying our hockey players and our football players and basketball players and our movie stars. There's millions. Then, not to mention, there's money that you can claim by your state. Your state can possibly be withholding money. You go to claim it, you got to put your name and your social, and sometimes money pops up. So that means that they're withholding money from citizens, and they have to constantly pay the state budget, the county budget. Yo, there's a lot of money going around. So why do you think that we can't take care of our own homeless population? Don't you think the homeless population should have been fed? In fact, I ask you to do this. Whenever you get the spare time, look on YouTube. I would go into it, but it's kind of a long video, and I wanted to stay on this. But go on YouTube and check out this video called Pigs in Las Vegas. And you're going to see all the wasted food or all of the leftover rotten food or half-eaten food they throw out, and they turn into some slop, and they feed it to pigs. So if we're so economically crushed, if we're so going through a recession or depression, or we don't have enough money to take care of our homeless, why is that? Why is there a $70 plate on somebody's table that they say, I'm not really going to eat the rest of it. Let them clean it up. They say, what are we going to do with this half-eaten lobster? They say, we're going to grind it up and feed it to some pigs. Why is that at this point? So let more homeless people in. Gas, nothing to do with, so letting more homeless people in has nothing to do with racism. Well, like you're saying, they're asylum seekers. So we're America the Great, right? We're supposed to actually help those that are in need of help. Now, if we're barely getting along ourselves, or if we would have to actually manage and understand why we're in such a poverty rate. Because there's baby boomers that's starting to become millionaires. There's entrepreneurs that become millionaires. There's real estate millennials. Okay, so there's different people that's becoming millionaires. How is that possible with a homeless population that we can't never fix? Why is that? And don't tell me that wall had nothing to do with race. That's why not unless Trump has a secret advisor that told him that there's going to be millions of asylum seekers, and then he was like, okay, well, we got to build a wall. That's what that would have had to done. And at that point, how is a wall going to save you from that many asylum seekers? Are you kidding me? They'll dig tunnels. They'll heave themselves on each other's shoulders to get in here. You got to think. If they're seeking asylum, and we never know what they're seeking asylum from. If they're seeking asylum and they see a walled-in country, when they climb that wall to get in this way, they're like, yo, what's out there is crazy. Y'all are safe in here. That wall's been protecting you. Okay? So let you know that wall is going to agitate, or that's going to bring the zombies in. That's not going to keep the zombies out. They're not going to sit there and say, oh, wall, they got military. They're not going to say that. This is going to be like World War Z. This is going to be like Walking Dead. You know what I'm saying? Remember the fence? You remember the gate? Remember the zombies who used to just sit there by the gate? I'm telling you, this is about to get real. Okay. All right. But how beneficial was the Mexican wall? Because if they were still climbing, or if they, why would we need to have a wall? Hey, you know what? Maybe Mexico is racist. I wasn't raised in Mexico. I was raised in America, and I know what America's habits and dialogue and media has taught me. So I don't know what they teach in Mexico. You would have to ask Mexico. But if Mexico's wall was built for America, or to stop the immigration, or the people running over and crossing the border, why is America feeling like they have to do it? And why are the Mexicans still climbing over the border or climbing over the wall? That's what I'm saying. It's not working, okay? And in fact, they could have made them things electric or steel grated with barbed wire. None of that. You look at that wall, okay? Apparently I don't what? You see? This is what happens when I sit here and try to talk. You're trying to take me off the topic. What's up with this? Huh? You're cool with the Amazon burning? You're talking about Mexico? I'm talking about global, okay? You're talking about the border. I'm talking about the earth, okay? I'm not just talking about one country. I'm talking about the whole planet. The planet's under God's judgment. And it's due to stuff like that. Did we really need a wall? Huh? Did we really need a wall? Yeah, exactly right. No, we didn't. We didn't need a wall. Okay? London doesn't have a wall, and if they do, they still took in their asylum seekers. Okay? There's places overseas that took in asylum seekers. Who would say, oh, you're seeking safety? Not here. We already got a population that's broke and poor, and we can't help them, so we're definitely not going to help you. Or why not rebudget and say, damn, we've been giving one hockey player $90 million for a season, or for 4 seasons? Are you kidding me? Shouldn't he be happy that he's on TV and he's getting a little bit of money? Nah, that's greedy. I'm bugged out, right? That's crazy.
The first day I came here by myself, I was worried that my pasture could burn. And if so, what would my cattle eat? Then we organized some groups, and we came by 8, 10, 20 people to put out the fires.
Experts say one of the causes of the fires is the ancestral practice of chaqueo, consisting of slash and burn farming. It's got out of hand because of strong winds and high temperatures. Bolivia's first ever indigenous president, Evo Morales, who is running for a controversial 4th term, has been accused by environmentalists and locals of encouraging the blazes by signing a decree last July that legalized chaqueo in order to turn forests into pasture.
Most of us in Europe are becoming aware of the growing use of plastics. A lot of plastic waste ends up in the sea, where it takes a long time to decompose and can be incredibly damaging to sea life. The scale of the problem has been revealed by a floating laboratory that spent the last 6 years touring the Mediterranean. It found particularly large amounts of waste in the Black Sea.
Hey, Jerusalem has a wall. It works. Oh my gosh. That would have to be the best Trump line ever. That had to be the best Trump line ever. But you know what doesn't have a wall? The oceans, the coastlines. And guess what? They're littered with nothing but goddamn trash from people that like to wall themselves off. So, you know what? When you wall yourself off, your trash eventually spreads. That's why you're not supposed to wall yourself off. You're not supposed to be in secret. You're used to walls. Who's used to walls? All walls must be torn down at some point. Okay? Everything that's good comes to an end. Okay? All that's good eventually comes to an end. You remember that saying? I didn't create it. So this is where we're at. Okay? This ain't me trying to promote fear. I didn't make that that little picture on the screen. I didn't make that little picture on the screen. That was on the internet. You can check it out yourself. Okay? Just to let you know. And I didn't make this news stream. Bro, the Holy Land, okay. I'm so far over the wall. You asked me about Border Patrol. You asked me about open borders. Open borders is no fact to the wrath of God. Okay? All that this is happening upon the planet. What up, Clock? All that's happening on the planet is the wrath of God. God doesn't care about open borders. God cares about open hearts. Now, if you're putting up a wall to keep out asylum seekers, then your heart is cold and bitter and callous. And if it is, then he will meet you with great wrath and fury that you've never seen. Okay? So, if that's your reason, maybe that's your reason. Okay? But I don't believe that we should be stopping asylum seekers. You can't say, oh, well, since we have our own homeless population, because we got homeless people and we can't take care of them, we shouldn't be helping others. No, maybe we should stop making the rich richer. That's a common sense right there, right? That's a little bit of ideal. You say, hey, why are we paying LeBron James $90 million to put a dang ball through the hoop when there's people out here that's actually starving? Common sense. All is caused by man. Greed is caused by man. Okay? But like I'm saying, I didn't create none of this stuff. Hold on. I want you to know. Oh, wait. Hold on. I want you to know I didn't create this. This is actually out there. Okay? This chip is now on the market. Now, that was in 2002. Human computer ID chip proposed. Okay? It was made back in 2002. Now, hold on. Give me a second. Just in case. Well, you know what? If I could get to it, because I wanted to show you, but you actually have to be here for the streams in order to see. Okay? But back to business. The wrath of God is coming down due to that thing being out. Okay? Yes, I do say it's God's wrath. Okay? The pollutant of the sea, you're saying it's caused by us, which you're right. It is trash. But in turn, God's wrath is coming down upon the earth because of it. Okay? So, the more trash we put or we litter our seas with, we cannot drink. The Bible says in Revelation chapter 16 that an angel will come down with the wrath of God and turn the waters into the blood of dead men. Okay? So there will be no drinkable water on the earth. So, like you're saying, we're causing the pollution now and we can barely drink the water. The water is already contaminated. The bottled water is actually tap water. Please research that. Google that. Okay? So, man is messing up their own future. But then in turn, God's wrath comes behind it. Can man control the sun? Now, if you've been paying any attention to the sun is what's heating up. The sun's heating up the planet. That's how we have these volcanoes going off. That's how we have the Antarctic and That's how we have the Antarctic and Alaska melting. The Arctic shelves, those are melting. We're seeing displaced water in Puerto Rico, in India. Bahamas just got bombed with that horrible hurricane. Puerto Rico got hit with a hurricane and an earthquake at the same time. So what causes an earthquake? Magma movement. Come on, people. Tectonic plate shelvement. Let's go. So if the lava or the magma is starting to react, and now our volcanoes are erupting due to the sun heating up the planet from the inside and on the surface. Is this not time to get right? So many inconsistent points. It's funny, right? Well, I hope that you're laughing when your calamity comes, because you sound like one of those people that want to keep looking away from the actual stuff that's happening in front of you. Now, how are these inconsistent points? Some people will never get it. Caused by the wrath of God. Caused by God's wrath.
The world's production of plastic is increasing every year by 9%. This Italian biologist told Euronews that people should always choose glass where possible because glass can be recycled. A lot of the plastics that end up in the sea become microplastics like this and are often eaten by smaller fish, which end up in the human food chain. Conservationists say that...
Wait, you can't be a realist if you don't want to admit the real reality of the fact that this ecosystem is doomed. That the wrath of God is coming down upon this place. Now, you can sit there and say that man caused the beginning, but they didn't cause the end. You can't cause the end because the end is going to be supernatural. Okay? Just like, you know what? Did man know that their pollution was going to get this bad? I remember them showing us Captain Planet and Simpsons, different cartoons that was talking about pollution, save our earth, save the planet. But through greed and, carelessness, people saying, who cares? Now look how bad it's got. So if you're a realist, is this not really happening? And if you're also a realist, then how are you going to deny the fact of God's wrath coming down upon the planet after the fact of this? Look how bright this is appearing on your screen. Now, this isn't only the TV, but I'm talking about, look at how bright the sun is blaring down on that. So that's a supernatural event. Man cannot cause the climate of the sun. Okay? If the sun is heating up the planet and the planet's already wounded from trash, pollution, all this other crazy shit that they got up here, you let me know where you're a realist. Okay? So this has nothing to do with God. The sun has nothing to do with God. Okay? That's where we're at. This guy just told me the heating up of the planet, the internal crust and the surface has nothing to do with God. He said this is all through our doing. We heated up the planet by polluting it. That's what he's telling us. That's what he's trying to tell me, at least. And guess what? I don't want to buy it because I don't believe it. You're not going to tell me that stuff down there is heating up our planet. Okay? You're not going to tell me enough plastic on the surface is going to heat up the planet. I'm telling you that the sun is now letting off UVB and UVC radiation. Now, after this video, if I'm able to, I may show you what UVB or UVC radiation is. But I implore you to do your own research and understand that the sun is not within our power. or within our grasp. The sun does exactly what the sun wants to do. Okay?
More global awareness of the problem is needed.
After Cyclone Idai's devastating action, Mozambique becomes another setting for the World Food Programme's relief operations. WFP, a United Nations...
Well, before he actually starts typing it... Wait. Before he starts typing it, this is natural. I know he's going to say it already. I already know he's going to say, this is natural. This always happens. Well, guess what? This don't look natural. This looks like it stopped a whole bunch of people's lives. This looks like it's going to have nothing but mosquito larvae all over the place. Okay?
Nations Agency intends to reach 1.7 million people in the coming months. According to the 2019 Global Report on Food Crisis, the main causes of acute hunger and food insecurity were conflict, 74 million people affected, climate, 29 million people affected, and economic shocks, where 10 million...
Okay, so, all right. Is that a fear tactic? Is this fear mongering? Is this propaganda? The source was the World Food Program, okay? This way you can't say, oh, you can't source it. Where you get your source from? Where's the credible evidence? Okay? And conflict, 74 million people. Okay? Climate, 29 million people. And economic shocks, 10 million people. Now, imagine if America was hit that cataclysmic. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's called a natural disaster. Okay. Okay, so this is natural. 74 million people. That's natural. I heard that last year. You're right. In fact, I heard that in 2004 too. So, you know what? Maybe you're hitting the needle on the nose. Okay? But for some reason, they're showing it again. So if this was such a natural event, what's the need to show it? We're just going to sit there and say, hey, you know what? There's going to be another 74 million people dying in conflict. You know, I'm just happy that I'm not a part of the 74 million. That's how we're going to be? Or we're going to sit there and say, yo, there's no such thing as climate change. So there's not really 29 million people suffering from climate. Okay? We're just going to erase all that. No. You need to do your own research. The internet is not a credible source. You're very correct, sir. But the World Food Program is not the internet. This news segment is not the internet. Somebody on the internet seen the news segment, taped it, and put it on their video. And then they started asking for donations. Hey, doesn't that sound like enslavement again? You pick up an orange that fell from a tree and you said, I'll charge $3 for it, $2. You see that? That's where we're at. Well, how else you expect people to get paid? Money isn't natural. Was we born with $20 in our hand? No, but somebody rich can put a credit card in the crib. Okay? A credit card is not natural. I'm sorry, sir.
People are affected. A concern in the 2019 Global Report on Food Crisis, which does not include Mozambique.
Wait. Someone told me that I was watching fake news. Someone told me that this really ain't happening. Someone told me that I was fear-mongering. But had these children been warned, would they be sitting there looking at that rubble? Huh? And what's their ideology of God? Do they sit there and believe in a God? Do they even pray to a God? Huh? And were they praying before that? And then, what about the people that got caught in that? Huh? Did they pray to God? Was they connected? You see what I mean? Before anything happens, before calamity happens, don't you want to know your Lord and Savior? That's where I'm at.
Is most of the 113 million people experiencing acute hunger are living in just 5 countries in Africa.
Hey, sir, this don't look like it's from the internet, sir. Now, the person that uploaded it, yeah, they're on the internet, but they're showing the world too. They're just not giving you commentary like I'm giving you commentary. My commentary is thy kingdom thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Okay? That's on earth as it is in heaven. So you could laugh all you want. You could think it's funny until it's at your doorstep. But what's wild is you've been here the longest, and you see I didn't make this video. They put these clips together. Because other people choose to worship God in their own, they feel like they're getting to God in their own path or their own way. But if you put all the stories together about God, this is the same God. I don't understand. People have different traditions on how they worship God, but all gods, when they put them together, He wants unity, peace, love. That's the prosperity of what everyone teaches. All right, where? Where? Well, I'm waiting, because for one, you don't have a stream, and for two, I don't see where that's being promoted or why you would need to call that. I'm waiting. Any reason? Because that's what my God promotes. My God promotes love and peace. Now, you can sit there and say, oh no, he wanted people to get killed, or he caused murder, or he caused death, kill. You can sit there and say all that stuff. But there was an order that people went outside of. And even now, in your society, in this place that you want to deem to call home, there's still an order in this way. Innocent people are now getting shot and killed, okay? Whereas back in that time, if they were deemed to be unbeneficial to society, or if they were deemed to be rebellious to law and order, then they would be put to death. So that's where I'll hear you call your bull. But other than that, where? I don't see where you can be calling any kind of thing bull.
Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Sudan, South Sudan, and Nigeria. Nonetheless, the worst crisis is in Yemen. Afghanistan and Syria are also in the top 8 countries listed by WFP, making Western Asia and the Middle East the second most affected region. WFP advises the international community to step up efforts to end conflicts, empower women, and improve rural infrastructure, while improved food security is needed to avoid uncontrolled migratory flows.
Chanting "Free them all," thousands gathered in Moscow to demand the release of political prisoners.
Civil society has already set free 6 of those involved in the Moscow case, and I think that only by putting more public pressure can we make sure others are also freed.
The arrest came during a wave of demonstrations held over the summer to protest the Kremlin's decision to ban a dozen independent and opposition candidates from running in the September 8th elections for the Moscow legislature. Kremlin opponents say it's part of efforts to stifle dissent.
This is a big evolution of our society. Unfortunately, there have been political prisoners in Russia since at least 2003. But now we see that it has really become a mass people's movement. And I am sure that more people will be released because of this rally.
The harsh sentences given to many of those arrested have sparked a public outcry.
I'm still waiting. I was still waiting. Where's God promoted division or mass murder or death? Because that's what's being promoted nowadays in this society. And this is a anti-God society. This is an atheistic society. This is a society that is godless. Okay? So I'm still waiting for where God promoted violence. Like I said, it was to the benefit of the social structure at that point, or people that went out of bounds with law and order. Okay?
Groups, including priests and teachers, have also signed open letters in support of those detained. Many at the rally say the Kremlin's actions have been arbitrary and disproportionate.
I'm an active citizen and I'm not fine with the fact that it is possible to unlawfully jail anybody. It is done on purpose to intimidate people so that they have no freedom.
In a rare step following the public outrage, authorities have dropped the charges against some of the protesters.
Nah, wait. George Soros is funding these people. George Soros funded Black Lives Matter. George Soros is funding the little Greta girl that's talking about we're watching the beginnings of a mass extinction. And she's talking about human extinction, just for those that don't know. Okay? And George Soros is funding these people that's protesting. You know? Because that's the new conspiracy that's the new conspiracy killer. You find out that the people that's actually crying about wanting change or things that's like, okay, Black Lives Matter. Oh, George Soros is funding that. Oh, so then you know what? Black lives don't matter because those people were paid off. That's a protest that's not real. They're promoting racism. No, so that means that cops aren't shooting. There's no police brutality. The cops aren't actually shooting people. You see what I mean? Now you'll sit there and say, well, George Soros is paid, so we don't have to worry about Black Lives Matter anymore. The cops could keep on doing their police brutality. Little girl Greta on at the United Nations crying about how ecosystems are collapsing and what you call it, we need a change. She's paid off too, George Soros. So now we can continue living the way we want to because, you know, these people keep coming out and we just label them fake news or somebody paid them off. And then you do some research and you find some kind of link and you'll say, oh, you see? No, so they really are paid off. So now we don't have to listen to whatever they're saying. This is just another fear tactic. Meanwhile, this stuff is actually going on. So that's where we're at. That's where we're supposed to be, just knocking it off. We're supposed to be like, yeah, okay, that's not real. Sir, I never promoted the Quran, sir. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not really into the Quran like that. I'm sorry. I promote the word, the Holy Bible. And you know what? You know what's bad about that? Remember when we was little? We used to hear that was the word of God, and you know, we heard so much positivity in the Bible that that people that read the Bible looked like nerds or dweebs, or they was always in 3-piece or 2-piece suits. Well, now if you get to the right segment or you get to the right person that has a little bit of knowledge or they think they got a little bit of knowledge, they'll sit there and say, oh, did you know that King James was a pedophile? Did you know that he molested children? You knew he was a rapist? You knew he was gay? You see what I mean? So you can actually have truth and somebody's going to come and discredit it. Where'd you hear that from? The internet? You see? Like this. I could be telling you the truth and you'll tell somebody else and they'll say, where'd you hear that from? The internet? And then you'll be like, well, where did he get his news from? The internet. And then you see how you canceled out the internet? Meanwhile, there was somebody recording this. There was somebody always recording that. And you seen it. You seen it, but since somebody told you it was fake news, now you're thinking blue screen. Now you're thinking holograms. You're thinking green screen. You're thinking that it's all fake. Meanwhile, it's actually happening. That's how they're tricking you, okay? The greatest trick the devil pulled was making people believe that he didn't exist. Because once he had them believe that, then there was no reason to pray or believe in God, okay? Because there was no enemy, there was no bully. And if you didn't pray or believe in God, then there was no reason for you to follow his commandments. There was no reason for you to do what he told you to do, okay? And then from that, that's where the devil crept back in with his own rules, okay? And now you have people dressing up as women teaching our schools, okay? You got men dressing up as women reading storybooks at story time. So if you're okay with that, may the flames be with you, okay? Because I don't know what else to tell you at this point. We're in the third quarter. And boy, they're up by 15. So I would hate to see what's going to happen in the fourth, because they haven't let their star player off the table yet. And once that star player comes off the bench and he's fully energized, we're already down by 15. Okay, so that's where we're headed. So you could think that I'm okay. You think that I'm nuts. You can think whatever you want. Okay. I hope not. God's not either. Yo, who would be? Where's that beneficial to any humanity? Huh? Where's that beneficial to any humanity? There's no hate behind that. In fact, if you promote that, I think you hate the person that's living that life. You're saying, you know what? I don't think you could find better for yourself. I don't think you could find real love. So I think that it's more beneficial for you to stay in that predicament. Stay in that lifestyle where you can't procreate, where there will be no legacy of you. So that's where we're at. I think that this is more promoting of hate than me sitting here saying, yo, God doesn't like it. No, I'm trying to tell you, go out there and have a generation, have a family. Now, if you, I got into an argument with a person that lived that alternative lifestyle too. And they told me the same thing. They was like, well, not everybody wants children. So I had to actually like understand that. That's something I had to understand and work out with in myself. That's a true fact. Not everybody does want to be pregnant or want to have children. But it's natural. And that's where God's against it. We're here for a purpose, and we're here for a purpose. That purpose is to recreate, procreate, and to teach. We're supposed to hand down knowledge. We're not handing down our knowledge because we feel like the school's got it. But either way, since that's not natural, that's where we're sitting there letting people just do unnatural stuff, and then in turn that messes up the generations to come, because it's almost like drinking a little bit of toxic waste. It doesn't deteriorate your gene. It deteriorates your genes over time and over generations, but you're not going to see an immediate reaction. You understand? That's where we're at. That's the type of place we're in. Okay? Well, global warming's been real. Then we should have been had it on our news segments. But what really started letting us know that global warming was real was wildfires. Wildfires never occurred before I would say 2004. 2004, I don't remember hearing about wildfires like that. In fact, I remember when I was younger hearing, I remember when I was coming up hearing Smokey the Bear. Only you can prevent forest fires. Now we have wildfires just spreading through the course of heat, through the sun. Okay? So don't come at me telling me that I need to stop promoting fear. I'm letting you know what's coming down upon the earth. That's it. That's it. So this isn't me. This isn't me trying to promote fear or nothing like that. I'm telling you the kingdom of God is at hand, and we need to start building up a connection with him. Okay? That microchip you see on the screen is a do not take. They was trying to pass legislation in 2002 for this microchip. There was enough Christians in America and in the world at that point that they was trying to fight it. They said, no, we will not take it. Well, now the level of spirituality has sunk so low that they started microchipping people in Sweden. They have a 20% Christian population. They're now starting to microchip people in Wisconsin. I'm not sure what their population of Christians are out there. And they're starting to put legislation on the books in Arkansas to start microchipping employees. So just like I didn't make this picture, it says the last days, the mark of the beast is here. So if you think that I'm trying to promote fear or trying to give you some propaganda, I don't have no PayPal, no WhatsApp, no Cash App. I'm not asking you for none of your money. I'm showing you pure knowledge. Okay? That's what I choose to show you. I don't know what they're showing you in them other streams. I can care less. I'm trying to show you what time we're in, okay? And why we need to get right with God. So if you choose that God is fake, then that's up to you. But I'm letting you know right here, right now, this is a global event taking place. The wrath of God is upon the planet Earth. And if you value yourself or your loved ones, y'all would all seek a connection with God and hope for his protection. Because even if he doesn't protect your life, at least you know that when you die, you'll have a pleasant dream. Because you would be dare to be stuck in nightmare or darkness for eternity. All right? Get it right. Okay, that's the end of that video. All right. Okay. You know what? Bring it. Bring all your negativity. Wait a minute. You must not know who you talking to. You must not know who you talking to. Hey, Wig, tell him that me and you know each other. I already know what you are. Says a guy with a troll name. Hey, you know what? Me and Wig's been gone at it. Me and him always go at it. So I ain't got no problem with it. Bring in all the trolls. I'm trying to understand what's going on upon the planet. And if these trolls got some answers for me, then I'll accept the answer. I'll be like, oh wow, okay, maybe you was right. Like Goyim. If Goyim will come up with some some fact. Hey, you know what? I was wrong. Okay, you're right. Lightning isn't living, but they enslaved the rest of the planet. They enslaved the rest of nature. Okay, that's good. Hey, I know Wiggs too, and he comes in here and he says this, everyone that doesn't agree with me is very welcome to type in their comment. I'll never block nobody. Okay, so I want to understand what's going on upon the planet. Okay, should this stuff be happening? Is this normal? Look, this is India. Okay, landslide. But dude, you said that the factual evidence is that this stuff is just natural. Now, if this was natural, why are they making it seem as if it's unnatural or is out of the norm? Okay, this isn't normal. Landslides aren't just supposed to happen. Okay, now they're showing that this boulder is crushing the truck. And if you're saying that that's natural, well then we should see a whole bunch of crushed trucks like this. This shouldn't even be recorded at this point. Okay? If all these things are natural occurrences, why what's the sense in recording them? They're like, it's just another landslide. It's just another flooding. Okay? At least 130, look at the bottom of the screen, at least 134 people have died over the past few days in the northern states of India as a result of floods and landslides. So is that not displacement of water? Is not the Antarctic and the Arctic shelves melting? So am I a conspiracy theory? Is this a conspiracy theory? Am I giving you fear to monger? Have I became your enemy because I show you the truth? Huh? When you get a chance, Google pole shift, okay? That's going to let you know about displacement of water also. So just in case you're saying that I'm reaching or I'm far out there or God's wrath isn't, you let me know what man is going to be able to shift the poles of the earth, okay? You let me know if that's not a supernatural event, okay? That's out of the norm. Because you're not going to say, oh, that's natural. That happens every 2,500 years. Our pole shifts. That's abnormal. That is supernatural, okay? Just letting you know, in case you didn't. Someone told me that this is normal. Someone said that someone said that global warming wasn't real. But tell me this: if this was normal, how come they don't have not a dang boat out there in India? Wouldn't they be used to this? They're like, yo, you know, there's gonna be a flood this summer. There's gonna be a flood coming this winter. And what happens when all this stuff freezes over? Because you know, I don't know about you, but have you noticed that it goes from hot to cold? What's up with that? Where's our weather? You remember we used to have constant weather for one season? Now we have like this weird weather where it's like 81 days, 60 the next, or 70 one day, 40 the next. You see? So what happens with them, with malaria, mosquitoes, the different diseases? Because if anyone knows about India, sometimes when they have babies, they be having like little 8-leg babies or 2-headed babies or some weird deformities. So what happens now with all the still water just sitting there, huh? What's going on with that? Or does that drain off somewhere? Is this normal to the point that it just drains off?
घर जाने में तो मजा ही आई है। नहीं निकल लेंगे, शाम को नहीं होगा तो। पानी तो बाहर है। सारे संसार। छत्ता वाला भैया थोड़ा सा
रोइए मत, यहाँ रिक्शा लगा दीजिए साइड में।
कोई नहीं, कुछ नहीं होगा।
Now, you may be kind of puzzled and you're saying to yourself, well, why is he showing us nothing but India? Because if this is happening here, imagine, if it's happening in India, imagine when it gets to your house. Imagine when it gets to your backyard, okay? This is about to be a global event. I'm just letting you know that. I'm letting you also know that it's not only going to be America that's going to be partaking of the wrath of God or the judgments of God. This is going to be a planet-wide destruction.
आगे बाएं है थोड़ा ही दूर पे, अब पानी खत्म हो जाएगा थोड़ा देर बाद।
I'm grateful. Thank you for actually holding a party open in order for us to debate. But at this point in time, with me seeing what I'm seeing on the stream, I know that no one can make this up. I know that this is not fake news, and I'm on this topic right now. At some point in time, I would like to take up your offer or your invitation for a debate, but that was not a part of my my scheduling, or that was not a part of my stream at this point in time. So I do look forward to debating y'all, hopefully, but at this point in time, I'm on my stream and I'm showing what I'm showing. So if you feel like you want to debate reality or facts, then you and Wig Splitter can go ahead and debate those arguments on your own. But as for me, I'm looking at a bike that's totally submerged in water. Okay? And as you've been watching my streams, I'm pretty sure you know that I do my commentary. So, like I said, that's not to knock. I'm very grateful. I'm glad to know that I can actually bring people together, either in positivity or negativity. And I to show how much I do like my trolls or people that don't agree with my theory, I would love to eventually do a debate. But right here at this point in time, I had my stream lined up a certain way, so I want to do it that way. So I do look forward to debating both of you, okay? But right now, we're just going to hold it in the stream. Thank you. Now, with all this water, surely they seen lightning. Now, was lightning natural? Because if it was, with all this water, shouldn't lightning be coming down? Now, you were talking about negative and positive ions, okay? But lightning is charged off of negative ions. Everything negative is not of nature. Nature is positive. Nature has been taught negative. That's where you get lions thirsting for blood and stuff like that. Because biblically, once God comes back, the lions shall lay with the lamb, and they shall both chew grain. So lions can possess their bodies, or they can maintain their bodies through vegetation. But since they're so used to hunting and slaughtering, that's where we have now created this meat facade. Okay? But if you really look at the balance of nature, when fruit takes the longest to grow from the tree due to it's delicate. It's either way, because I it's hard for me to actually explain, and I'll go that far to say that I can't explain the fact of why the fruit takes so long to grow from the tree. But once it's ready, once it's ripe, you can either pluck it or it drops itself. Okay. As for the vegetation, the vegetables, they grow from the ground. Okay. That stuff is placed right in front of us. We shouldn't have to slaughter. We shouldn't have to kill. We shouldn't have to do any bloodshed in order for us to eat. But since we're doing harm to the earth and to innocent life, and now we're killing people, okay, this is where we're at. And this isn't only going to end in India. This is just the beginning. Look, and you know what? Yo, okay, wait, that's normal? That's normal? You let me know when that's normal, okay? They see those all the time. That's always up there. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching. But you know what kills me? Out of everything on this picture, out of everything, this right here. Oh, that irks me. Oh, man. If this is okay, then I should be able to ask you for donations as well. And you know what? As I'm showing you the judgments of God being bestowed upon this place, there's no reason that I should be asking you for no cash in order for me to keep my life going or keep paying my bills. Because what I'm showing you is the wrath of God is coming down, and tomorrow's not certain. So I would try to make my own way. I would try to make my own money, and I wouldn't ask you for donations for somebody else's footage. Okay? Because you can sit there and say that too. Oh, you're using somebody else's content. Well, the person's content that I'm using is using someone else's content. When this person sent in this picture or this video, they wasn't looking for this guy here to sit there and say, donate to me because my poor family. If that was the case, when they sent in the picture, they would have been looking for some kind of compensation or some donation. You understand? So this is where we're at. This is why our level of greed is just insane at this point. Okay? You can know that India just been bombed with a monster monsoon, and you're still going to say, well, I got bills to pay. No, them bills are starting to be wiped away. And you shouldn't be trying to profit off of someone else's misery. Okay? Those people in India, those people need donations, not you for putting up the video of the people needing donations. And then you're asking the people that subscribe to you for donations. No, you should be saying, donate to the people in India if you can. Possibly. If you can't, I understand. Everybody has bills. You have a family. Take care of your family. Not my poor family. So now, every time I'm looking at the knowledge, or every time I'm looking at stuff that people done put out, then I gotta see your sad face in the corner. I gotta say, yo, man, maybe I should give him something because, you know, he's hurt. Yo, we all hurt. We all hurt. Wait a minute. So, just like I said, I got a few streams. If this is okay, then I should be able to put one too. But I'm totally against this. This is horrible. This is horrible. Okay? We're at the, just like little Greta said, we're at the beginnings of a mass extinction. We shouldn't be sitting here worried about monetary gains and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. Okay? So money's about to be done away with anyway. They're starting to work with digital currency, cryptocurrency. Okay? Facebook wants to come out with Libra. That's Libra is a digital dollar. They said Bitcoin is digital gold. Libra is a digital dollar. It's backed by Federal Reserve, and so they're getting ready to come out. So all this money stuff is done. Okay, so you can sit there and pour your life into it. You can, but that's the thing anyway. Ultimately, money was created to cause you to be a slave. If you would have adhered to that, then you would have broke your mental captivity. But they kept you in a mental enslavement due to media, celebrities, popular clothes, fashion name brands, all that stuff. That's what kept you. You're like, oh, that's nice, I want to get some of those. Oh, I want to get this. That's where the money came in. That you needed money in order to acquire all that stuff. Whereas if they was promoting to you love and peace, you would have found out a long time ago, money can't buy your happiness. But for some reason, nowadays people equate happiness to a Lamborghini or a Rolex, and they feel like if they flash it a certain way at some people, that they'll have those people in their grasp. But that's not what it takes. It takes to have a larger sum of money. This way you can buy those people off, and then people know that they can use you at any point in time. Okay? Oh, hey, you know what, Puff? The thing is, people are always looking for handouts, right? But when I was raised, I heard that only black people wanted handouts. I heard black people were the ones looking for handouts. How is that possible? Huh? That's crazy. We're all slaves. Yeah, you know what? We're slaves to currency and to bills. And it's all for greed. Greed and hate. Goyam, why don't you ask, because Puff and Stuff sounds like he has a good mind on his shoulders. Why don't you ask Puff and Stuff why we have such a high homeless population and why we should be turning away asylum seekers? Because you said that we should be turning away asylum seekers because we have a high homeless population. But why do we have a high homeless population? Just because Puff and Stuff just said the government lies to us. We're paying athletes, we're paying musicians and artists, we're paying celebrities and movie actors extreme amounts of cash. Not to mention baby boomers, entrepreneurs, millennials. There's money floating all around, but there's homeless people. Why are we slaves? What made us slaves? Huh? As you look at this cloud and look at the bottom of your screen. Look over Farrand. Look over Farrand. Now, for some reason, you know, some people sit there and say, yo, you're reaching. Yo, you're crazy. But why does this have a loop in it? What's the loop from? You see that loop? And on both sides, like a B. Okay? So if you think that this is a normal cloud, if you think that this is natural, you look up some more of these pictures, okay? Look for supercell. That's what it's called. A supercell cloud. They never had pictures of these before, okay? Look at that. Illinois, okay? And it looks like there's two of them, and they're always circular and round. So, just in case, you know, oh, they're manipulating the footage. Oh, they this is special effects. This is CGI. Hey, get this. If that's the case, then where's their face? Because then they will possibly be looking for some credit. They say, hey, look, we got what seems to be like some cloaked UFO ships or we got some kind of weird cloud over our state. So yeah, I want some acknowledgement, because that's what I get too. These are hoaxes. Those people just want 5 minutes of fame. Well, where are their faces? Yeah. Hey, you know what? That pharmaceutical company stuff needs to go out the window. The reason why is because there's holistic health. There's ways to actually heal. And then they're doing so much wrong with the pharmaceutical companies that it's insane. Now, since we have people that want to transition, or we may have people that want to change, pharmaceutical companies are making it more affordable, or they'll give that benefit to people of low income. So now Medicaid and stuff like that will allow people to actually do sex changes. Now, if this was a pharmaceutical company, aren't they supposed to be doing better health? Are they supposed to be aiding in your mental disorder? Okay? And if you don't think that's a mental disorder, go talk to a therapist, please. And please don't talk to the wrong one, because the wrong one will tell you, no, at this point in time, it's okay. But anybody knows that that's a chemical imbalance. That's something wrong with your mental, okay? That's a disorder. So now they have pharmaceuticals that's benefiting disorders, okay? I want you to think about that. That's why they make so much off of pharmaceuticals, because these pharmaceuticals are enabling and aiding your demons. You see, disease or disorder, that used to be looked at as unclean, and you would want to cleanse yourself. Whereas now, these things kind of sedate it, okay? They gave you a sedative. And then what gets me is them clouds. Now, if there's something in them clouds, just like I showed you the loop, and just like you just seen on your screen, the curvature of it. Now, if there's something in them clouds and they're watching the destruction of this place, what do you think is going on? What do you think is going on in their shit? Huh? So the mother cow's dead. The mother cow's dead, and the baby cow's still alive and trying to suckle from the mother, trying to get its milk. Okay, this is natural. I'm gonna start asking this question now, because now you're saying the way I take it. I don't want to flip your words, but the way I'm taking it is you're telling me all this natural stuff I'm blowing out of context. Well, for sure, then we should have seen other videos like this. For sure, this should just be like a natural event. You know what I mean? And in fact, if this was so natural, wouldn't that baby cow say, my mom's dying, I got to get milk from somewhere. Let me go to a living mom. Let me go to another cow mom that's alive. Or was that cow just saying, hey, you know what? There's nobody else around. Let me get the last drops of milk out of my mom. This is natural. Okay? That's where we're at. Oh no, I can't hear that. That had to be like the fire alarm or something. And a massive tractor trailer was on fire, and it possibly had gas in it. If these were natural events, what's the sense in taking the video? Just to let the world know? just to try to monetize and make money off of it, as we see his poor family, huh? Or is these actual things that's happening that's above normal? Heavy rains cause flash flood, a flash flood, okay? Flash flood means it comes and goes, right? Flash flood, or out of nowhere, right? In northeastern Turkey, okay? So not only India, but Turkey, Puerto Rico, Bahamas, everybody had their fair share of some water, okay?
Öyle bir sel görünmüyormuş ya. Şu anda köprüyü taşmaya başladık. Binanın altına geldi de Allah yardımcımız olsun.
And just in case you don't want to hear me, you don't believe what I'm saying, you also should check out Nostradamus. Because Nostradamus was talking about an uptick in all these events. Okay? So just when people were sitting there saying, hey, you know what? Maybe the Mayans were wrong. The Mayans were actually right. Because all this stuff started upticking in 2011. 2012 is when it really must have took shape down where they seen it, where in Mexico or wherever they were, okay? Wherever they were, maybe they seen a greater sign and they was like, oh shoot, the end of the world. That's where, okay? Because now we have all this stuff happening. You got earthquakes and all kinds of stuff going on in Mexico, okay?
Karşı taraf komple bastı.
Wait a minute. Please don't say that. Yo, cows think. Anything that has a brain thinks, bro. Why does a fly move when it's about to be swatted? Does it sense danger? Is it like Spider-Man and say ding? Or did it say I want to live and it flew the hell out of the way? Okay? So everything has a brain. You don't think that cow had a brain? It knew that it didn't have nothing else around. It knew that there was no other mothers. So it went to suckle the last bit of milk from its dying mother. Because the mother was already stiff. There was already rigor mortis. Okay? Yep, it sure did, Puff. It sure did. And guess what? If we're not watching it, but you know why this is happening? Because of greed. Because of hatred. Okay? People find a reason to hate God, bro. Get that. Someone was trying to tell me that God wasn't love and peace, that he wanted division and chaos and violence. He told me that I was speaking bull. I was like, where's that bull? You let me know where God was always promoting violence and anger and wrath. No, he said if you didn't listen, that you would be brought to wrath, as any child would. If you don't listen to the parent, you're gonna get beat, okay? But this beating is gonna be a global beating, okay? Because there's many children down here that just want to be stubborn, rebellious, and hard-headed. So now we're watching the beginnings of a mass extinction, okay? Well, if you think the cow couldn't reason. There was nothing for it to reason with. It had to take from its dying suckling mother. This world's been turned away from God, bro. I think it's only like a few people left that actually believe in a God. Or actually want... And see, that's to it. Yo, bro, think about this. You die. Or no, while you're alive, you're telling people to adhere to your rules, or to respect you. Respect what you give them. Respect you. Give you respect. You die or you pass away to that person. They say, nah, I don't like your ways. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna go to somebody else. So, in a sense, they kind of killed you in their mind. And then they don't respect anything that you ask to do of them. When you get back to that mother freaker and you done seen the damage and all the disrespect that they did, how much are you gonna love them, huh? It doesn't matter if the world's turning away from God. I think the world just condemned itself, bro. It just condemned itself, because along with turning away from God, you're not respecting any of his commandments, any of his laws. So now you just think, yo, just off of me believing in God, I'm gonna get to heaven. Wrong. No, that's not how that works. You can't just sit there and say, okay, I know the door exists, I'm gonna walk through it. No, there's a lock there, buddy. You got to get past the lock. How you gonna get past the lock? Somebody on the other side will have to admit you in. They will have to either unlock the door and let you in, or you would have a key. Now, if you're not following commandments, how are you gonna have the key to heaven? How are you gonna just walk into heaven? Oh, I believe there was a God. That's what the problem is. People aren't following. People don't want to follow the laws of God. So that's where the wrath comes in. Okay? God said to love everyone. No, he didn't. Because if that was the case, then we would be okay with the fact that men are dressing up as women and teaching our children. And you know what? If that's okay, then our children should be able to procreate like that. You see? We can't be tolerant of everything. Did God tell you, if God told you to love everyone, then your enemy, you should love him too, even if they're coming at you with a sword or a gun. You see what I mean? No, you're not. You have a brain, so you're not supposed to follow that. Sin cannot enter therein, but there's Christians nowadays that allow sin right in, and they're tolerant of it. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm saying that we're wrong. And through these pastors, through these priests, through these whatever you want to call them, they'll tell you God loves everyone. You have to be tolerant. God loves the sinner and hates the sin. God doesn't want no one to be lost. God wants you to save everybody. And you can't save everybody because not everybody believes. Okay? Some people are just destined to be disbelievers. They want to do whatever they want. They want to have that freedom. And then when they meet their Creator, when they meet the Heavenly Father, he will cast down indignation, which is rightful justice, rightful judgment upon them. And if you look at Revelation chapter 16, that kind of shows you the mind of what kind of a God we're coming against. Okay? That shows his indignation. That shows his wrath. First, there's some plague or some sores that go upon the people that took in the microchip and who worship the android, the robot. Then the waters turn to blood. People are going to rebel. They're going to say, I'm not drinking that water. Then the heat, the sun starts blaring down with fervent heat to the point that people have to drink the blood. Okay? So those were just two of the curses. Those are two judgments that God has promised in the Bible to reign upon the earth. Okay? So God isn't nothing to play with. That's not something that you want to actually mess with. Natural events is part of earth. So dude, that's what I'm saying. Natural events are a part of earth, but when they start increasing or intensifying, those are supernatural events. Those aren't just natural events at that point, because you got to worry about the after cleanup. You got to worry about the destruction or the devastation. That's out of the norm. So natural events are a part of earth, yes, but when they intensify, that's when you have to worry. Nostradamus just had common sense. Well, if you read any, if you watched any documentaries on him, he was supposed to be like a prophet seer, or he's seen the future. So, like I said, whenever you get the chance, you do your own research. Check it out. I ain't trying to promote no fear. There's no fear that needs to be promoted. I'm trying to promote thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It says it right there at the bottom of the screen. Few people will enter heaven. Yeah, wide and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Narrow is the way that leadeth to light. Yep. God gave us free will, and you know what? We destroyed the planet. We enslaved people, and now we are now slaves to monetary gains. Where's the free will in that? We enslaved ourselves now. Get that? Yeah, boy. It's that time of year, dog. It's that season. Who? Hitler's? Don't you mean Hitler? So he just messed up on Hitler's name? I don't know. Hey, Twisted Sense. Hey, what's up, man? Look. Hey, is this twisted? Hey, in fact, I think you said that I had twisted sense for reading the Bible, right? But is this twisted? Is this flash flood in northern Turkey twisted? Is India being flooded? Is that twisted? Is an earthquake and a hurricane is Puerto Rico twisted after being hit with a hurricane and an earthquake at the same time? Is it also twisted that volcanoes are erupting like 3 and 4 at a time? And then what happens with the super volcanoes? With so much, please, I implore you, go to Google and put up uprise in volcanic activity, okay? And then once you see how many volcanoes are actually going off upon the planet right now, please Google how many super volcanoes are there on the planet, okay? Because we have yet to see a super volcanic eruption, okay? So if I'm just out there, if I'm just crazy, you let me know. But I want you, and I implore you to do that, okay? Check that out. Oh, man. Yeah. And that's nothing good, bro. That's nothing good. The 7 trumpets are playing. They are playing. Events that transpire on the earth are supernatural due to the fact that the earth is old. But the earth's age is supernatural because what's natural to us isn't natural to the earth. Okay? The earth's nature is higher than our nature. That's why we got trees that survived for like 2,000 years, or we got wood that can survive long, or we got like underground labyrinths and stuff like that. The earth itself is supernatural. We're looking at certain events. We'll say, oh, grass grows, that's natural. Trees grow, that's natural. Storms and the sunlight, that's natural. But if the earth stays here outside of our lifetime, is that not supernatural? Because it's natural for us to die, whereas the earth is going to be here forever. So that's super. That's beyond our natural existence. Okay, what are you going to predict? I would like to hear what you're going to predict, and it's bound to happen. YouTube trumpets over Winnipeg or Manitoba. Okay, well, like I said, I'm so happy when the trolls come in. You can make fun of it. You can say that I'm just blowing in the wind, but is this fake news? That's what I want to know. Are we here? Is this fake news? Okay, I'll ride with that. I'll ride with that. Yep. Strange trumpets are playing in the skies. Weird sounds. Anyway, yeah. I believe Australia will sink one day. I think they will sink in California, especially with all the earthquakes actually happening. But that's due to the tectonic plates shifting. What shifts the tectonic plates, people? Magma. Now, why is the magma activity increasing and the volcanic activity increasing? And why is the Arctic melting and the pole? Why are the Arctic shelves melting? And why is Antarctica melting? Huh? Would it not be our sun? Now, if you go to Revelations chapter 16, verse 8, I believe, it says that God gives power to a angel to pour his wrath upon the sun, that the sun may burn men with fire. So, if we're not watching the beginnings of this, maybe he splashed a drop up there to test it out to see how it's going to work. Maybe he's still pouring the vial upon the sun. But either way, with this flash flood, this is showing us a displacement of water. Okay, all that water's coming from somewhere, and it's splashing back down. You can't say, "Hey, this is normal," because if that was the case, they would not be recording it. They would just be sitting there saying, "We have these every year. It's okay. We don't have to record this." No, this is something of major concern. Just like little Greta said over there in Europe at the EU, at the United Nations. Sorry, she's from Sweden. She said, ecosystems are collapsing. We're now looking at the beginnings of a global... No, we are now looking at the beginnings of a mass extinction. All because of monetary gains and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. That's what she said. Then you got a few people out there that said, we got to do research on this girl, where she came from. And they found out that she was under George Soros, so she got paid by some organization or some... And that's just to discredit what she said. And you're like, okay, so that means that there's no climate change. There is no global warming. Because remember, they used to tell us that with Al Gore. They say, oh, y'all just fearing stuff. We can still keep building our cars and we can still keep messing up the planet. Don't say nothing. You just shut up and sit back. Okay? So now that this is actually happening, are we really nuts now? Is this just normal? This is okay? Hey, you know what? We don't have to keep an eye on Israel if the whole world's getting condemned. Sorry. I'm just being real. Just telling you. Everything's being messed up. You ain't even got to worry about Israel.
Yağmurda bir tane, Obadaki yağmurda bir tane arabanın dosyası şu anda gidiyor. Evet, Obadaki yüksek yağmurdaki sel afet arabanın dosyasını aldı gidiyor. Allah'ım yarabbim.
So, along with the Arctic melting and Antarctica melting, there's due to be sea level rise. That's why I'm showing you these floods, just in case you say, nah, God's wrath isn't real. Climate change isn't real. Nothing's happening. I could look outside right now and look across the street, and I could see Jessica in her short shorts or in her little mini skirt. Everything's good. I'm letting you know, just because it's not in front of you, it's not in front of your corner store, this is actually happening, okay? Don't think just because you don't see it, this place is being wiped out, okay?
Ya kimse böyle büyük zararlar verme inşallah ya.
Yo, Puff, what they say in the Bible? The seas shall be roaring. Right? Oh, wow, right?
Sigue el temblor.
Earthquake, powerful 6.8. Magma. So the floods are causing displacement of water, and earthquakes are happening due to magma activity. And now you're watching the volcanoes erupt as well. So I've been on for 2.5 hours. I love you all, okay? And I really think that this is a point in time where we should be getting together with God. There was so much stuff that I wanted to touch on, but you know what? Hopefully you enjoyed me for another stream. Hopefully you liked, followed, and you subscribed. But if you didn't, hey, you know what? Some of y'all just come back in here just whenever you're bored or whenever you want to. So I'm cool with that too. But get this. I usually end out all my streams with a prayer to the Lord. I think if you able to say so with me, do so. If not, God bless you anyway. But to our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, power, and glory is yours forever and ever. Amen. As you see on your screen, these are events that are irreversible. You are now looking at a future calamity that cannot be stopped. We can sit there and we can deem it as something that's natural, or we can actually look at it for the fact that this is now God enacting us to come back to Him. This is our last chance, okay? And you got to hope that the chance is still there, because the mercy is His to give. Some people are just destined for destruction. Hopefully I'm not, and hopefully you're not as well. I love you all. Hopefully we get this stuff together. God bless you.